years ago, a very terrible incident happened. At this time, this constituency was on fire. And we all remember exactly what it was. The MPP unleashed violence that has never been seen before in this country. People in Azubu masks descended on this constituency and opened fire and injured several of our activists. Up till today, some of them are disabled and unable to go to work. Just 2 weeks ago, we visited one of them at home. He was a footballer. Today, he can hardly play football. He cannot even walk properly to talk about playing football. And so, anytime we come to this particular constituency, it evokes memory of what happened 5.5 years ago. And it is my prayer and hope that this will never happen again in our country. In 2020, when we held the elections, 8 of our compatriots died. Not as a word of sympathy, not an investigation to bring to justice the people who killed them, and not even one personal compensation for those people whose dear ones were killed. I want to assure the people of Ayawaso West Wokon and our colleagues who died, the 8 innocent Ghanaians in the 2020 elections, that when NDC comes, we'll pursue justice for them, and then we'll also compensate. We'll also give them the appropriate compensation in order that they can put their lives back together. Our nation is in crisis, and we all know the crisis we're going through. Times have never been as hard in Ghana as they are today. Our people are sinking into poverty. A recent report says that 55% of Ghanaians are living in poverty. We've never had this high percentage of Ghanaians living in poverty before. And our assemblyman was quoting some statistics. He said almost 2 million young people, youth, are not in education, they are not in employment, they are not in training. At the age when you're a young person, you should either be employed, that is if you have finished school, you must be working. If you're not employed, you must still be in school, educating yourself. If you are not in education, you should be in training to earn a skill to be able to go into the world of work. 2 million young people are sitting idle at home, not doing any of these 3 things. This is a very dangerous statistic to witness. And so we're sitting on a time bomb in this country. When NDC was in power, unemployment was 8.2%. Today unemployment is 14.7%. And aside from this, life is hard for everybody. For our women and other people who go to the markets. I mean, we have the highest food inflation, almost the highest food inflation in Africa. Prices are unbearable. You know what the dangerous thing is? When you are ill and you know what is wrong with you, it is halfway towards a cure. If you are ill and you know it's malaria, you are halfway towards curing yourself of malaria. If you are ill and you know it's typhoid, you are diagnosed, you know it's typhoid, you are halfway towards getting the cure. Unfortunately, the people who have caused this economic crisis do not even realize there's a crisis. Because when you hear them say they are the best government and that even Nkrumah doesn't come, it shows that they don't even understand the situation in which Ghana is. Because if they understood the situation, we're still 5 months to an election. There are urgent measures that they can take to ameliorate the situation. You don't go saying, vote for me and when I come, I will do this. You can do it now. You say you rationalize taxes. 5 months to an election, you can rationalize this enough time to rationalize taxes. All the promises you are making, you have enough time to start implementing them right now. I say, no, vote for me first, and then I'll come and do it. What they did in 2016, they can't do again. They say you can fool some of the people some of the time. You can fool fool all the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And so, Ghanaians are widely awake. We are wide awake. At this time, we cannot take Ghanaians for a ride. Those false promises are not going to work. If you have anything to do for Ghanaians, you have enough time to do it now. You have 5 months. If you can't do it in 5 months, there is no guarantee that you can do it even if we give you 4 years or 8 years. And the other time I took time off to debunk that useless thing about 4 years and 8 years. If you follow the logic of what he says, oh, he has only 4 years, I have 8 years, then it means no president should get a second term. Because it says, if you get a second term and you are going 4 years, you will be accountable to the people. So then we should change the constitution and say every president should do 1 term and go away. Because your second term you will be accountable. You know, you see there's no logic in what the person is saying. Even if you say 4 more for Nana, you knew that Nana was going to be unaccountable. And so just dismiss that and let's look forward. We have solutions to the problem and we have the experience to implement those solutions to rescue this country from the crisis. And you have an experienced driver who has driven you several times back and forth to your destination and back. Which of those 2 buses will you sit in? And so the person himself says he's a driver's mate. He doesn't have a license yet. So he should work and get a license test. And then after he gets a license, he can come. There are 2 important programs that I'll talk about here. And one is because of the high unemployment in this particular constituency. The first one is the apprenticeship program. Because if young people have finished school and they don't have a job yet, then they should be acquiring a skill so that they can go into the world of work. And that's why we're talking about the National Apprenticeship Program. For the young people who have finished GHS and SHS and have not advanced into tertiary education, they need to get a skill to go into the world of work. A skill is always important for any person. Because whether you continue to stay in your home constituency or you move to any part of the country or you even go outside the country, if you have a skill, your chance of getting a job is higher. There are many people who want to Jaka. But if you are Jaka with a skill, then I think most of you have heard about Jaka. If you are Jaka with a skill, because if you're Jaka and you're a carpenter, you get a job to do. If you're a Jaka and you're a mason, you get a job to do. If you're a Jaka and you're a welder, you get a job to do. So acquire the skill so that you can get employment in your own country. And if it happens that you find yourself outside this country, that skill will help you to get a job. And that's why when we introduce the National Apprenticeship Program, I hope that all those who are not in education, not in employment, will take advantage of it and at least get training in a skill. And so whatever you want to do, we'll make sure that the master craftsmen are paid to give you that training free of charge. And the next critical issue is the issue of small and medium enterprises, which are run particularly by our women. Our women are in trade, in commerce, and so on and so forth. And most of the time, some of what they need as capital for their businesses is as little as 1,000 Ghana cedis. And yet, they have no access to that credit. We had the Women's World Banking. And when this government decided to do the banking sector cleanup, they added this important bank into the sector cleanup and shut it down. So now there's no specialized institution giving credit to women in this country. And that's why we say when we come back into office, we're going to establish the National Women's Bank. And we'll focus on giving small credit to women in small and medium enterprises. Women are an important part of our economic prosperity. If you go into several sectors, it is the women who are driving progress in those sectors. And so if we put our money where our mouth is, with our mothers and our sisters and our wives, so that they are able to earn an income, it will improve the welfare of our children and our husbands and our brothers and uncles. And so it's one of the issues that we take up. The 24-hour economy, I've explained it so many times. It is only those who don't want to understand who don't understand. Otherwise, if you say, oh, but some people are doing it already, we want everybody to do it. And so the point is, some people are doing it already, but they are doing it voluntarily because the owners of their employment believe that they can optimize their profits by adding more shares. So they are doing it voluntarily. There's no policy. And I'm saying that NDC is coming to introduce a policy that will incentivize more people to add on additional shares, to create more employment for young people. What is difficult to understand about this? And so let's work hard to gain victory for NDC. The point is, the best signal we can send to the world that Ghana is ready for a turnaround is to vote out the MPP. Yes. Then we'll be taken seriously that we want to do a turnaround. A vote for the MPP candidates in this 2024 election is a vote for a third term for Nana Akufo-Addo. Why they are desperate to break the 8 is to do a cover-up of the 8 years of atrocities that they have inflicted on Ghanaians. And so they need a pliant vice president to come and inherit them so that all the loot, all the corruption, all the stealing will be covered up. But it won't happen. The good people of Ghana will. And so when we come, we're going to hold them to account. I know that our chiefs have been complaining about their lands that have been appropriated. And I've said that when we come, we'll set up a commission of inquiry. And all the Kadangli traditional areas whose lands have been misappropriated will present petitions to the commission of inquiry. And the commission of inquiry will investigate the alienation of those state properties and those lands. And it will sanction those who have unjustly taken our lands, will repossess some of those lands, and aside from that, it will give recommendations on how the abandoned lands should be handled. And so, a commission of inquiry will be set up. And when the time comes, you'll be encouraged to present your petitions to the commission in order that investigations can take place and the appropriate restitution is made to you. In this constituency, you have many problems. I think the spokesman for the traditional authorities mentioned one of them, and that you have all the tertiary institutions in this country. You have UPUSA, you have my former university, Legon, and Accra Technical University, and all the others. But there's no secondary school in the constituency, unfortunately. And so, like I said, when we come, we'll build a community-based school in this constituency. So that the young people who finish from basic education don't have to travel out and then come back again for tertiary education. You'll be able to attend your own secondary school here and then from there continue. This government has given up. They have no solutions to the issue of flooding in Accra. As for now, the least rainfall leads to flooding, even in areas that didn't used to flood before. There are many places where we never experienced floods. Today, when it rains, those areas get flooded. And so, I've said that we need an engineering solution to this problem. Apart from a human solution, which is to avoid littering and throwing things into the drains and so forth. We also need an engineering solution. And so NDC is going to commission the best hydro engineers to find out how we can alleviate the flooding problem in Accra. The problem with flooding, for those of you who studied geography or hydrology, is if you look at Accra, to the north you have the Equapin range of mountains, and a lot of streams come from that range when it rains in the Equapin range. That's why sometimes in Accra it doesn't rain, but yet you see that water is coming. It's coming from the eastern region, from Equapin and some of the rivers there. And that water is flowing towards the sea through the Sakumo stream, the Odo stream, and all the other streams that you see going to the sea. Now we've come to build a city between the mountain and the sea. And so when the water is coming, it encounters the city. And we will not let the drains open. People are building on those drains and impeding the flow of the water. And once you impede the flow of water, it will back up and it will flood. And so we need to find an engineering solution to this problem, otherwise it will continue forever and ever. And so NDC will come and look at that and resolve this issue. And then finally, we all want to rescue our country from the clutches of this rapacious MPP administration. And before we can do that, we must win an election. We all know what happens during elections, especially in this constituency. There are times when I believe you could have won the election, but because you let your guard down, you lost it. It is not going to happen again. All we are asking from you is vigilance. We shall send you the resources. We're going to launch the campaign soon. And once we launch the campaign, there is no rest for any of you. We're going to go from house to house continuously from now till December 7th to all the markets, to all the shopping centers. We're going to go and we're going to campaign so that John Dumelo gets elected as a member of parliament. And so we will send you the resources to prosecute that campaign. As soon as the campaign is launched, we're going to send you what you need, including money. So I don't want any excuse that we didn't have money to fuel our vehicle or we didn't have money to do this. We're in a position we don't have money, but the little we have we'll share amongst all the constituencies so that we can campaign. Send the message to every corner. You have the leaflets, you have all that it takes to be able to do the campaign, and you must go and give out the leaflets and give the NDC message out. But aside from the campaign, you can campaign as best as you want. You can have the best message, you can have the best candidates. On the D-Day, if you are not vigilant, you will lose the election. You have a good candidate, we're going to send you the resources, your message is good. All that we require from you now is vigilance. And so please, the party has asked for people who want to volunteer to be trained as party agents. Kindly make sure that you send your best people. What I said was that preferably, if we can find them, we want people with a tertiary education. I didn't say we are recruiting only people with a tertiary education. I said preferably we want people with a tertiary education. But there are people who probably are in SHS who are bright and can be trained to be electoral agents. I haven't said we should refuse them. What I'm saying is that the election today is more complicated than it was in the past. Yes. In the past, we needed people to sit there to prevent imposters. Now the issue of imposters is resolved by the biometric verification machine. But you must have somebody who can understand that the number on the biometric verification machine must be the same as the number of ballots in the box. And when you're filling the pink sheets, you must see it's like algebra. C5 plus A4 plus 3 must be equal to this. If you don't have the know-how, there's no way you're going to understand when those figures are put on the pink sheets. And that's why I say preferably you can find people with a tertiary education or people who don't have a tertiary education but have the cognitive sense to be able to decipher the pink sheets and be able to train as proper polling agents. Let's find those people. And so all of you who are accountants, all of you who are architects, all of you who are professionals, let us know the polling station where you vote. So that on that day you are not just trying to vote and go away. You will vote and sit there on behalf of NDC and make sure that the right thing is done. Because I believe that if this election is transparent and fair, I have no doubt in my mind that NDC will win it. And so finally, you have Dumelo is known across the length and breadth of this country. Everybody knows the kind of person he is. He's not only good in the career that he has chosen for himself, but he does a lot of other things. Even without being the MP, if you see some of the things that he's done in this constituency, it is commendable. He's a farmer, and I've been, he's my fellow farmer. And I know that he cares about the young people of this constituency. And so I present it to you, I put it in your hands. It is you who can make him the member of parliament. And I know that with his work rate, even not being a member of parliament, if you add the mantle of parliamentary leadership to him, he will make sure that this constituency becomes a model constituency for the rest of Ghana. Thank you very much. We were now the leaders of the she like Ayawaso West for I didn't want the constituency there. They were really going there election day. Obaye, who is your member of parliament? Who is your parliamentarian to the book? Get a mature member of parliament. If I had Ayawaso West for a very area, if you are I present the parliamentary candidate Ayawaso West John Seto.
Regional executives, national executives, and everybody here invited. We are winning the December 7th election. Ayawaso West will be declared NDC on the 7th of December 2024. I am the next member of parliament for Ayawaso. And President Mahama is coming back. Just like I contested in 2020, I have come back to contest. And I will win this seat for the end. Your Excellency, Ayawaso West Wagon is united more than ever. We have stopped fighting. The only people we are fighting now is the MPP. And we are vigilant. And I want to assure you that all those who vote for us, your vote will be protected. We are not going to court. We don't have time on the 7th or after 7th December to go to court. Our court is the polling station. Our judges will be at the polling station. Our lawyers will be at the polling station. Our vote will be protected and we shall count it ballot for the And so, be rest assured, we are winning this seat. Your Excellency, I did for you, just like you did for me, just like you did for the people of Ayawaso. Ayawaso West Wagon has become the economic hub of Accra. Security is important. We need to take security serious. Unemployment is high. Your Excellency, yesterday I was passing through Dumelo, and I saw one of the banks that had been collapsed. And I saw corn and okra growing on the compound. That's not what we want. We will plead with you to bring back the licenses of these banks so that the employment will be given back to the people of Ayawaso West Wagon and Ghana. There are so many state institutions in Ayawaso West Wagon. OST, TOR, FDA, Standard Board, so many of them. Employment should be given to the people of Ayawaso West in this state institution. Because for Wanoni, and because of that, we have to benefit from that. That's right. Again, Ayawaso West Wagon has become very dirty. It is dirty. It will move you. But I will clean it up. I will make sure this place becomes clean. Ladies and gentlemen, Yawawo, Kenya Wawo, Davcadotv, we will win the election on the 7th of December and we shall move Ayawaso West Wagon. I can confidently say that when we declare the votes for Ayawaso West Wagon and John Dumelo has become winner, then we know that you two will become the president of this republic. We need to rescue the country. MPP has been in power here for over 24 years. It is bad. It is wrong. We need to move forward, and we need to move forward in the right direction. I am your son. Help me to become member of parliament so that we'll move this constituency forward. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
John, John,